Good morning, students. Today we are going to continue the same chapter, that is the forms of business organization. And we already studied what is mean by the forms, that is how they are creating the business organization and what are the different forms. And in non-corporate enterprises, we studied about the sole proprietorship, meaning, features, importance, and some of the limitations. Okay, so today we are going to study the same topic, that is the non-corporate enterprises. That is second form of enterprises, that is the joint Hindu family business. Okay, so what is mean by the Hindu undivided? That is a joint Hindu family. It is a Hindu undivided family. The business which is carried out by the members of the Hindu undivided family is known as the joint Hindu family business. That is the business which is carried out by the members itself. Okay, so this kind of business is not governed, is not coming under the government law or some of the industrial law or companies act, but it is coming under the separate act. Okay, which is which is governed or formed by the Hindu law. The act is called Hindu Succession Act. Hindu Succession Act, which is coming under the Hindu law. So in Hindu undivided family, that is a joint Hindu family business, there are the two conditions in order to start the joint Hindu family business. What are all the two conditions? So the first one is minimum there should be the two male members in the family. Minimum that should be two male members. That is the first one. And the second one is existence of some ancestral property. So the members should have some of the property which is maintained by that is the grandfathers, that is the ancestor property. Okay, wow. This is the two main conditions to execute the joint Hindu family business. What is the first one? That should be a minimum of two male members, and that should be the existence of ancestor property. Okay. So the next one is the ancestral property. It should be inherited by the male members. Is inherited by the male members of the Hindu undivided family. So the members who share the ancestral property and who are entitled to get the share in the profit. So the member or the person who share the ancestral property and the member is entitled to get the share in the profit of which business? Of joint Hindu family business. So it is also called as co-portioners. It is called as co-portioners. Okay, so the business which is carried out by the members of the Hindu undivided family is called as joint Hindu family business, and is coming under which act? That is Hindu Succession Act. Okay, and the two conditions are minimum two male members must be there in the family, and the existence of some ancestral property. There should be the existence of some ancestral property. So the members who share the ancestral property and the person are entitled to get the share in the joint Hindu family business is known as co-portioners. Co-portioners. Okay, the next one is we are going to study about what are all the features of joint Hindu family business. The first one is how to form the joint Hindu family business. So we already know that should be at least two members in the family and the ancestral property to be inherited by the member. So the business does not require any agreement. So while framing this joint Hindu family business, the agreement is not needed to become the member. So the membership is framed by the birth itself. So there is no need of creating the agreement, and is coming under the which act? Hindu Succession Act 1956. That is the formation of joint Hindu family business. Okay, and so in this joint Hindu family business, what is the factor? What is the liability factor? We have to know what is the liability. So the liability of Karta is unlimited. So what is Karta? That is the liability, limited liability to the members. A Karta means that is the person business is controlled by the head of the family who is the eldest member. The person is having the full power to control the business activity. That person is called as the Karta. Okay. So in the liability factor, the liability of the Karta, who is the head of the family, the liability is unlimited. Okay, and whereas the liability for the other members of the Hindu family, joint Hindu family business is limited up to their share in the business. So the Karta, who is the head of the family, is having the unlimited liability, and the other members in the family, they are having the limited liability up to the share in their business. So the Karta's liability is unlimited. Unlimited means we already studied in the sole proprietorship itself, no? That is, so his personal assets can be used. Unlimited liability means when the business is going on loss, so at that time if the person is not able to repay the debt, that is the loan to the financial institution, so at that time the person can sell his personal asset, personal property to pay his debt to the financial institution. But the other members are not having the right to sell their personal property. That is the limited liability. Unlimited liability means the person having the right to sell his personal liability when the business is going on loss to repay his debt, that is the loan to the financial institution. That is the liability factor. That is the second feature of joint Hindu family business. And next one is the control factor. What is the control factor? So it is managed, joint Hindu family business is managed and controlled by the senior most member of the family, that is the Karta, who is called as the Karta, who is the head of the family, and he is the senior most person in the family. So only the Karta, that is the senior most person, head of the family, has the legal right. He is only having the legal right to enter into the contract with the outsiders. So in order to continue the business activity, there should be some of the contract to expand his business activity, no? So at that time, there is a need of creating the contract between the member of the business and with the outsiders. So at that time, he is only having the right to create the contract with the outsiders. So other members in the family is not having any right to make the contract or agreement with the outsiders to continue or expand the growth of the business activity. So he is the only person and having the right to take all the decisions in the business activity. So other members are not having the right to take the decisions in the management of joint Hindu family business. Okay, that is the control factor. And next one is the continuity. So death of that is the time of that is unexpected death of the member or Karta does not affect the business activity. It will continue because if the person is unexpected death or emergency happen means the other person, the next to the senior person, the next his son will take in charge of the business activity to continue the process. So the business activity will not come to the end. That is the continuity factor. Okay, next one is the minor members. So in joint Hindu family business, a child becomes a member by the birth only. So there is no restrictions for the minor to become the member in the business activity. Okay, wow? So the membership is started at the time of birth itself. So there is no restriction for the minor to become the member of the business in joint Hindu family business. So it is one of the feature of joint Hindu family business activity. Okay. So next one is, what are all the merits of joint Hindu family business? The first one is the effective control. First one is the effective control. So what is the effective control? So the Karta is the senior person and he is having the absolute decision making power, and he can able to take all the decisions in the business activity. So this will avoid the conflict because he is the in charge of all the process which is carried out in the business activity. So there is a less chance of conflict which is created between the members and no person. So other members are not having the no right to enter into the decision making process. No, so no other members can interfere to take the decisions. So this also leads to the prompt and flexible decision making. Okay, va? So as per the changes in the business activity, the senior most person, that is the head of the family Karta, having all the rights to take the decision, and there is the decision making process is also in the flexible manner as per the changes. Flexible means changes. So he has the right to change what is the decision which is already taken as per the changes in the business activity and as per the fund which is available in the business activity. Okay, va? So the effective control is in the hands of Karta, that is the head of the business organization. And next one is the liability. That is the limited liability of the members. So the liability of all the co-partners except the Karta is limited to their share as per the share in the profit in the business activity. The members is having that is the liability factor is only the limited liability to the other members. So definitely the risk will be is a well defined. The risk factor, when coming to the risk factor, it is a well defined. So there is a risk factor is a very percentage of risk is very less. Okay, because all the decisions are taken only by the head of the member, head of the family, and if any loss is met by that person, the loss will be borne only by that head of the family. Okay, so the risk factor is very less in the joint Hindu family business. Okay, and next one is increase loyalty. Increase the loyalty and cooperation. What is my loyalty? That is the trust, that is the honesty. So the business is run by the members, so there is a greater sense of loyalty only on the loyalty factor is between each others. So the loyalty, that should be the loyalty between all the members in the business organization. So if there is the loyalty and cooperation between all the members in the family, definitely there is a lot of chances to expand the business activity and achieve the objective of the joint Hindu family business in an easy manner. And this also helps to secure the better cooperation to continue the business activity. That should be a proper cooperation between the members. I'm right. So it is very helpful to have the secure cooperation between the members in this joint Hindu family business. Okay, so these are all the merits of joint Hindu family business. And next one is some of the limitations of joint Hindu family business. What are all the limitations? The first one is the limited resources. So the joint Hindu family business faces some of the problems of the limited capital because it is mostly depends upon the ancestral property. So there is a limited resources which is available in this type of business activity. Okay, and next one is unlimited liability of Karta. So the person Karta, that is the head of the family, is having the full power of carrying out the business activity and taking the decisions. So he is only having more responsibility of decision making and to manage the business activity. So what are all the loss is unexpected. The Karta is the only person can able to say, have to come forward to sell his personal property to reduce the risk. He wants to sell his personal property to pay the debt to the financial institution. I'm right. So he is the only person having more responsible. Okay, so it is coming under the limitations of joint Hindu family business because the only person is having the more responsibility of facing the risk, paying the debt to the outsiders. Okay, so it is coming under the futures and also the limitations. Okay, and next one is dominance of Karta. So the Karta, the individual person, is managing the business activity, and what are all the decisions which is taken by the Karta should be acceptable by the other members. So that is more dominant of Karta among the other members in the business. So without having the proper cooperation, it is very hard to continue the business activity under the head of the one member. As a head of the one member, it is very hard to continue the business activity. So if there is more dominant in the hands of the Karta, definitely there is many chances to break down the business activity. And some cases there is a lot of chances in breaking down of family, to running of the family. There is misunderstanding between the members because if there is a more dominant in the hands of one person in the one person in the business in the family. Okay, so it is coming under the limitations of joint Hindu family business. And next one is limited managerial skill. So there is only one person which is all the decision which is carried out by the single person. So what are all the skills which is available to that single person? That person can able to if there is a more dominant factor and not the proper cooperation, definitely he will not accept the other members' ideas, and he will not accept the skills and ability of the other members. So if business activities carried out only by the single person skill and ability, so definitely it is one of the disadvantages. Definitely it may result in loss. Okay, because if not accepting the other skills, other management skills of other members, he can't able to run the business continuity for a long period of time. So there may be more chances of losses in the joint Hindu family business. Okay, so this is also one of the limitation of this type of business organization. So next one is the partnership firm. So what is maybe partnership firm? So it is the form of organization. Partnership is a popular form of, it is one of the popular form of business both for the small scale and medium scale business activity. So as the business is growing on, one person is not enough to carry on the managerial activities. So two or more persons needed to form the partnership in order to carry on the business activities effectively. So this form of business activity starts only to overcome the problem of sole proprietorship. To overcome the problem of sole proprietorship, partnership business activity is started between the members. Okay, so partnership is an association of two or more persons who agree to jointly pursue a business activity. So, for that purpose, they need both managerial and financial resources to carry out the business activity. Okay, so partnership is an association of two or more persons who are agreed to jointly pursue a business activity, and it is a popular form of business organization for both small scale and medium scale business activities. Okay, so partnership should be framed and formed under the Indian Partnership Act 1932. So the partnership firm is a business organization and it should be formed under the Indian Partnership Act 1932. Okay, the next one is, what are all the features of partnership firm? Next we are going to see what are all the features of partnership firm. The first one is formation. So the partnership firm of business is governed by the Indian Partnership Act 1932. So it comes to the existence by the legal agreement. So only by creating the legal agreement between the partners, they can able to start the partnership firm. So the legal agreement is called as the partnership deed. Partnership deed. Okay. So in this agreement, the terms and conditions of the partners are specified, and what is the ratio of sharing the profit and losses are also specified in this agreement. That is the partnership deed. So the partners must enter into an agreement in order to carry the lawful business. What is the purpose? With the main motive of earning the profit. Okay, va? So if two persons join together for the charitable process, you already know what is my charitable, that is providing the services, it is not considered as a partnership. Okay, and keep in mind, even if two or more persons join together to carry some of the unlawful activities, that activity is not coming under the partnership firm. Okay, so it should be come under the Indian Partnership Act 1932, and it should cover all the terms and conditions which is laid down by the partnership deed. It is the formation of partnership firm. Okay, the next one is next one is liability. So we should know what is the liability of all the partners. So the liability of all the members in the partnership firm is unlimited. So the partners are individually and collectively liable. So he can individually pay liable to pay the debt, or he can collectively liable to pay back the debt of the firm to the financial institutions. At the time of the loss, if the firm's assets are not sufficient, if the partnership firm's assets are not sufficient to pay back the debt, then the creditors means, who is the creditors? Definitely in accounts you are studying, learn the important accounting terms. Okay, who is called as the debtors, who is called as the creditors, that is the credit purchases. If you are purchasing the goods in the credit basis, so the creditors can have claim over the personal property. The person who is purchasing the goods on the credit basis, so the person has the full right to claim the amount on the personal property of the partners also. Okay, that is the liability factor. Next one is the risk bearing. What is the risk bearing? So the partners in the partnership firm, the partners will share the profit of the firm in the ratio. In specific, that is 2:3, 3:, if there is a 3 partners, 3:2:1. Like that, there will be the ratio to share the profit as well as the loss, which is specified in the partnership deed. In case no ratio is specified in the agreement, then the profit or loss should be divided equally among all the partners in the partnership firm. That is the risk bearing. Okay, the next one is decision making and control factor. So all the partners are allowed to manage. So in partnership firm, all the partners having the right to manage the business activity. So they may specify the work area. They will allot each other and they will specify each area to work, which is specified in the partnership deed also. Which partner have to work in which part of the business activity. It is also specified as per the decision which is taken in the partnership deed. They will continue the work in the firm. So in day-to-day management is also carried by 1 or 2 partners also. At the time of taking some of the crucial decisions, all the partners will sit together and they will discuss together, and after taking the decisions by consulting all the partners, the decisions will be taken by the partnership firm. Okay, va? So there is no such individual control in the partnership firm. Next one is the continuity. What is the continuity? The partnership firm continues till the partner desires to continue it. Till all the partners. So legally it comes to an end only at the time of the retirement or death of any one of the partner. Okay, and even after the retirement and death also, the partnership firm can continue if all the remaining partners agree. If all the remaining partners come forward and they agreed in that, and after the retirement and death of any one of the partner, the partnership firm can continue. Okay, so in that case, they settle the claim of the outgoing partner. So what are all the claims from the outgoing partner? The other partners will settle all the claims and they will continue the business activity. So this is the continuity factor of partnership firm. And next one is the number of partners. So the minimum number of partners to form the partnership firm are 2. Minimum number of partner is 2 and maximum is, as per the Companies Act, is 100. Okay, which is subject to the number prescribed by the government. So minimum to maximum 100 subject to the number of members which is prescribed by the government. So at present the maximum number is prescribed by the government is 50. Okay, so as per the Companies Act 2013, it is maximum number of partners is 100. But now, as per the Companies Act 2014, the maximum number of partners is 50. Okay, this is one of the future of partnership. And last one is the mutual agency relationship. What is the mutual agency? From the heading itself is very clear that every partner is the owner in the partnership firm as well as the agent for the partnership firm and as well as the agent of the other partners also. Okay, so each partner is entitled to take part in the management activity and all the partners having the right to enter into the contract of the outsiders also. Okay, so the contract which is signed by any one of the partner is binding on the other partners also. So each and every partner is having the rights to sign in the agreement and it should be accepted by the other partners also. Okay, so the partnership firm can be carried on by all the partners or by any of them acting on behalf of the others. Partnership firm can be carried on by all the partners or by any of them acting on behalf of the others. Okay, va? It's clear? Okay. So the next one is the merits of partnership. So merits of partnership we will continue in the next class. Okay. So today we studied about what is meant by joint Hindu family business, some of the features and some of the merits and limitations, and what is meant by partnership firm, and what are all the features of partnership firm. Okay. We will continue the other topics in the next live classes. Okay. Thank you, students.